There are so many things you need to know if you are going to sail on the Utopia of the seas. The Utopia is huge, and if you have never sailed on an Oasis-class ship with Royal Caribbean, you are going to be blown away by the beauty of the ship and the size of the ship. And I'm going to give you some helpful hints that you need to know if you're going to sail on her, from making dining reservations, where to go on embarkation day, especially where to go for lunch on that day. We're going to look at the elevators. They have a really cool elevator system. Going to look at the kids clubs and what you need to do to register for that, how to make reservations for the shows and when to make reservations for the shows, how to save money on specialty dining, and we are going to look at the party vibe that Royal is really promoting on this ship. What about us non-partiers? Would we still enjoy the ship? Before I get to my more detailed hints, I'm going to give you a few rapid fire ones that I think will help you out. First, if you forget some toiletries, you will pay more on the ship, but you can find some basic toiletries in the back corner of the merchant store on the promenade deck. There is a piano player who might show up anywhere, but here he is on one of the elevators. People reserve front row lounge seats on the pool deck, even though you're not really supposed to reserve seats. And we noticed it especially around Splashaway Bay early in the morning, so that parents could get prime seating there where they could view their toddlers and small children. Probably those guests are awake really early to do that anyway. The app is a must, but make sure you know your Royal Caribbean username and password, because you could potentially get kicked out of the app at some point during the sailing and have to go back and log in. Knowing those things will help you out a lot. If you purchase a soda package, you will want to go to one of the bars when you first arrive on the ship and pick up an insulated cup. These have a chip on the bottom and you can use them at any of the freestyle soda machines. They do have Coca-Cola products in those freestyle machines. One of them is located right on the promenade deck by Sorrento's Pizza. There's another one up in Central Park at the Park Cafe. There are others located around the ship, and you can use your app under deck plans to find the nearest freestyle soda machine. But you're not limited to the soda machine. You can go to any bar with just your regular SeaPass card, and you will be able to get a fountain soda from there served in a regular glass. On to my top 7 topics. Let's first start with the entertainment. The shows are amazing, so much talent. But you must make reservations if you want a decent seat, and sometimes if you want any seat at all. Reservations usually open up on the app or on the website about a month in advance, and it's a good idea to go ahead and make those reservations right then. I recommend making reservations for the Aqua show first thing the first time it is scheduled. That way, if it has to be canceled due to bad weather, then you have another option during your sailing to still be able to get in. If you fail to make reservations before you get on board, I recommend you do it immediately upon embarkation. There will be a flyer in your cabin that shows all of the show schedule for your specific cruise. So you can look to see there in a one-shot glance what all the shows are. You can also get one of these flyers down in the attic on deck 4. I know, down in the attic, but that's where they are, and there will be people there to assist you in making those show reservations as well. Even if you made your show reservations in advance, it's a good idea once you're on board just to check and make sure that they didn't change the show schedule for some reason. Making a show reservation doesn't give you an assigned seat and doesn't really guarantee you a seat if you don't go a little early. People will line up, for instance, here at the boardwalk. Usually on the right-hand side is the reservations line, and people will start lining up an hour early on the reservations line if they want to have their pick of seat in the house. People will also start lining up an hour early in the standby line. Now, good thing about the reservations line is that it will open the seating about 45 minutes to 40 minutes in advance of the show, so you're not standing in line too long. But those people that line up early will get those very best seats in the house. Hint number 3, signing waivers. If you are going to ride on the flowrider or go in the rock climbing wall or anything that might be somewhat dangerous, the zip line, you have to sign a waiver. So you will want to go ahead and go on embarkation day there to one of those venues up around the zip line and flowrider to do that waiver, and I believe you can sign for all of the events at the same time. This is especially important if you have children that are planning to do this, that you go ahead and get those parents' waivers signed for the kids up there before it really starts getting crowded. Speaking of getting crowded Embarkation Day, flowrider usually opens up pretty early. So if you have a desire to be a flowrider, it's a good thing to go ahead and pack your swimsuit in your carry-on and change into that and be able to get on that flowrider quickly when you first board the ship, because if the weather's pretty, there is sometimes quite the line to get to participate. Number 4, cruising with kids. If you're bringing minors, you will need to register them for the kids club on board. Even if you're not sure that your child is going to participate in the kids club, go ahead and register your child. That way, if you change your mind, you can still get in. You'll be able to pick up a schedule of activities while you're at the kids club signing them up, especially if you have children from 6 months to 36 months and you want to use the babies and tots area, because that comes with an extra charge and the spaces can fill up. You can pay an hourly fee to have someone watch your babies there. Another thing to be aware of about kids, they have arcade games. You want to make sure that you have either money restricted on their SeaPass card with restricted privileges, or go with them, or turn off their buying power all the way around. Whatever you want to do with your child, but make sure you set those parameters early, because they can blow through some money quickly on these arcade games. And in the gift shop, there are plushies and toys. There's a candy store. So many places that your child might think that they should just go and spend money without really realizing how quickly that cost rises. They have their Royal Wow bands. I have a new accessory, the Wow band. These are great for kids and great for adults too. They're kind of like the Disney Magic Band, or if you've sailed on Princess, the Princess Medallion. These are a band that they can put around your wrist, and that way you don't have to worry about where I put my card. So you can put it on in the morning and just leave it on all day. You use this to get in and out of your room, to make purchases on board. It's a great little feature. It does come with a cost. On our sailing, it was $10 per band, but the band is reusable. So if you're going to go on additional Royal Caribbean sailings, this is a good investment. Just reactivate it anytime you get on board. Available on Embarkation Day, there was a kiosk right beside guest services. All right, since we're on Embarkation Day a little bit, let's talk about some Embarkation Day hints. First thing, you got to watch a safety video on the app and report to your muster station. Your SeaPass card has the code for your muster station written on it, and any crew member can direct you to where that is located. For a lot of people, it's right on deck 5, and you're going to enter it from deck 5, so it's really simple upon embarkation just to go straight there. If you haven't watched the video, you can do it there. It doesn't take very long, but if you can watch it before you actually board, that saves some time too. The ship offers ice skating sessions and laser tag, and both of these are complimentary venues, but you have to sign up so you get a spot. They have an escape room on board too, and that's a very popular venue. It does come with an extra charge, but it also fills up quickly. So if that's something that appeals to you and your small group, go ahead and sign up for that quickly as well. There will be a cruise compass in your room. This is not junk mail. It is so valuable. For instance, on day 1, if you look on the very back of the cruise compass, it shows the schedule of the full day, where everything is happening, the shows that are going on, when the spa is open, everything that's going on the ship. It's also on the app, but I find the one-page version to be a very good guide. Inside the cruise compass, give a description of all the shows and kind of parties and events are happening in the evening. It is especially good, the list of dining, because you can find out what's open and where for all the different food and drink venues on board. And it even gives you some information about room service. The hours are listed for all the different services. It tells you when the shops are open, when the pools are open. Dress code. On the front page of the cruise compass, it will tell you the dress code of the day. Our day 1 had red and casual. The dress code in the dining room is pretty casual. You don't want to wear flip-flops or tank tops or ratty jeans or gym shorts, but you can go in casual attire to the main dining rooms and it's no problem. The suggestion for red attire You can do that as your casual dining attire, but they have a party in the evening where the theme is a red night. So if you bring red, then you're good both ways. Also, during the trip, there will be a toga night. So you can bring your own toga, or they will even give you sheets. You can fashion your own toga out of the sheets. There will be a white night. So those are things that if you enjoy the parties where people dress alike, those are the things you can pack to blend in. You do not have to blend in. You're welcome to go in your regular clothes. Don't worry about having to have something white. They will have a dress to impress night. This is where you will want to dress a little more elegantly. Some people will really dress up fancy for that night. Others will be in like a polo and khakis, somewhat dressy blouse and pants. But there will be photographers all around the ship. It's a great time to dress up, get some pictures made, and enjoy a little fancier evening if you like that. All right, let's talk about dining. There are so many places to eat. On Embarkation Day, if you go to the Windjammer, their buffet has a huge seafood buffet. It used to be that lobster was only served on formal night. Well, they don't really have a formal night, but they have an Embarkation seafood buffet where you can get lobster and mussels and shrimp. It is amazing. It gets crowded quickly, so if you can embark early, go ahead and have an early lunch and enjoy all those foods, then find a different place on the ship to kind of await your staterooms to be open. That's a good plan. Another option is to go to the Solarium Bistro. This is like a mini Windjammer. It's toward the front of the ship. Calmer atmosphere. Does get a little hectic right when they first open up, a lot of people eating, but it will die down a little bit as the lunch crowd thins. They also have the lobster there, and I don't think a lot of people knew that on our ship. But if seafood's not your thing or you just want to avoid the crowd, there are other locations. You can go up to El Loco Fresh, which is a Mexican buffet. They have that open Embarkation Day. You can also go to the Park Cafe for some grab-and-go items. They usually have soups and salads and sandwiches and fruits. There are some specialty dining venues that are open at lunchtime as well. That is a great way to try a lesser-priced specialty dinner and lesser crowds in the venues. And of course, Sorrento's Pizza, it's complimentary down on the promenade deck. That's another good location for lunch. If you are used to sailing on Oasis class ships on Royal, there are a few differences. Of course, the car in the promenade is a standard item on all the ships. This one is pretty spectacular. And let's talk about the elevators. This elevator system is amazing. You go up to a keypad and punch the floor that you plan to go to. It will tell you which elevator to go to, and you stand in front of that elevator and it opens and you get on. It's kind of crazy because some people don't figure it out and they just get in an opened elevator and then they turn around to push a button for the floor and there is no button to push. So make sure you do get on the elevator you're supposed to get on. That helps a lot. There's also a handicap button on this, and if you press it, it will give you a group of floors that you choose from. This is very handy. You are going to have a less crowded elevator that should come straight to you. So what else is different about this ship? There are some specialty restaurant differences. This ship has the mason jar, southern style cooking. They do have this restaurant on the Icon and the Wonder, but those are the only 3 ships with it. This ship does not have Wonderland. It has Giovanni's, which is spread over 2 decks. So that's a nice, larger venue for Giovanni's than on several of the Oasis ships. And Izumi's has a walk-up window for things like sushi and bubble wrap, waffle cones with a la carte pricing. This venue is called On Air on most of the Oasis class ships, but on this one it's called Spotlight Karaoke. Much more of a fitting name so that people know what the primary use is for this venue on the ship. There is no card room on the Utopia. No library, no business center with computers. I guess they decided that for 3- and 4-day sailings, those venues would not be used as much. I did miss having a dedicated card room. On the sports area, there's only 1 flowrider instead of 2. Where one of the flowriders was is now a children's playscape, so it gives an area for a lot of climbing and swinging and active play for younger kids in this area. And they have flip-flopped the locations of the sports court with the mini golf course, but you still have a sports court and a mini golf course. And the sports court was set up for pickleball pretty often on the ship. There is no off-Broadway show. No Mamma Mia like on the Allure, no grease like on the Harmony, or no hairspray like on the Symphony. Instead, they have a production show with their singers and dancers called All In, and it includes some drones with lights that fly over the audience, and it made me a little apprehensive because I wondered if they've ever had drone fall out of the sky when a battery goes dead or the Wi-Fi disconnects. Evidently not, because they're still using those drones, but that was an interesting thing. Also, the All In show features music from Burning Man and Studio 54, and I am not familiar with either of those musical productions, so I didn't enjoy it as much as I did like the Aqua show, which featured 80s music. So what about this party image that Royal keeps kind of promoting? But before I get to that, let me ask you to subscribe to my channel. If you found even one hint helpful, it would be helpful to me if you will subscribe, and that will let YouTube know that I have valuable videos and it will show it to more people. I really appreciate your support. The party image? Yes, the ship was loud. I normally enjoy sailaways from my balcony. I just am a little more quiet, so that didn't bother me about the pool party, but I did want to go up and just get an idea so that I could share it with all of you. And I was blown away, literally, by the sound up there. In fact, I wondered just how loud was this party, and I downloaded a decibel meter and it went up to 110 decibels. And I thought, whew, I wonder what Mr. Google says is safe. And sure enough, 85 decibels is the loudest you should go without hearing loss. Of course, that's over a long period of time if you're going to be exposed to that. So I wondered, just how did the crew handle this? And I happened to sit by Katie before the Aqua show, and we struck up a little conversation. I found out she was going to be the cruise director on the next week after we would disembark. So I asked her about the decibel level, and she said that most of the crew do wear some type of hearing protection, some earplugs where they can filter out a lot of that noise level. I was glad to hear it, but I would suggest that if you have small children, even at Splashaway Bay, I checked the decibel level there, and it was still way over the 90s. The music from the main pool filtered right into there, and they have speakers. Your little ones are going to be hearing a lot of loud noises that their ears may not need, so you may want to bring hearing protection for them if they're going to be up in the pool area when the pool parties are going on. It was not just the Embarkation Day sail-away. They have sail-aways after every port and some other parties during sea days where they blare the music way loud. I would love it if they would tone that down just a little bit. And as far as the parties, yes, they had parties and they promoted the parties, but all of the parties seemed to be late at night, some starting at 10:30 p.m., some even starting at midnight. And I am usually in the cabin relaxing, possibly even sleeping by that time. So you don't have to go to any of the parties if you don't want to. There are lots of other things you can do on the ship, lots of family-friendly activities that would go on during the day. They had a family-friendly karaoke, they had family-friendly game shows. Of course, they have the kids club. So for your kids, there are lots of things to do if you can help them avoid loud pool parties. I'll just stick to my balcony. So is this ship fun for everyone? Yes and no. I will always prefer a 7-day itinerary anytime over a 3 or 4 day itinerary. We did book it back to back so that we could have 7 days. There were some pros and cons about doing that. I'll address that on a future video. This is Shirley with Shirley's Journeys, and I hope all of your journeys are pleasant ones.